Hey folks, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, I am Julianne Hoore, the self-proclaimed bearded bombshell of the Scottish drag scene, and today we've got another sewing tutorial, a little kind of festive kind of spirit with some beautiful red tartan. I'm going to ideally create into this, the idea is to create a cowl neck. I've also got some black sequin fabric that was left over from a previous thing that I did last year that I want to decorate the front. Very kind of Christmas kind of themed, intending if I've got enough fabric to do a big huge bow in the back. So basically I will be a Christmas present for you all in this dress, should I have enough. I think I do. I think I got 4 meters of this, and it's like a small dress, so hopefully it shouldn't take up too much. But I do intend to cut in the bias, so pending. It's going to be a lot of draping on the stand opposed to pattern cutting, and trying to get the exact shape right that I want for the front of this. So yeah, let's get on into it. So first task is, of course, we are going to take the fabric and drape it onto the stand. Cowl necks can be quite particular. You obviously can get it in a pattern, but if you have something specific in the mind on the way you want the front to drape, it's probably better to have a mannequin or a person to work off, so you can kind of take your fabric and manipulate it in the way that you want, so you can get the exact kind of shape and drape that you want at the front. So I take the fabric on the bias, which is at the 45-degree angle from the selvage on the end of the fabric, and I'm just pinning this into place on my mannequin, figuring out how I want it, how high I want the neck and the straps to start on the dress, and most importantly as well, I'm cutting off the bottom, so I know I at least want this amount of fabric from here, as you can see. And then we can work from that and kind of tailor the sides in, tailor the drape exactly how I want it, and it's just a great way of kind of manipulating the fabric to get exactly what you have envisioned. Of course, patterns are another option. Of course, it just would take a little bit more finagling, and it's more specific to one kind of shape, opposed to being able to be flexible. Instead of putting darts in the front, because I really don't want to interrupt the pattern, is I'm trying to tailor it at the sides as much as possible. I do put some elastic around it as well, and I'm putting my options together of, do I want to put darts in or do I not, but I also don't want to disrupt the shape of the cowl. So these are things to take into consideration depending on what fabric you are using. Using a plain fabric, maybe some darts at the waist could suit. I also do the same thing with the back, pretty much. I'm going to have it peak at the top and go back down to the armhole. So the difference I'm doing here is I'm actually only going to drape one side, and then from that one side I'll take that and replicate it on the new piece. So I've got 2 pieces with the fabric going in the same direction, meeting into the middle as best as possible, trying to pattern match where I could, so it looks nice and lovely. And then again tailoring it just at the sides as well, just so I'm getting a bit more of a fitted appearance here. And then here I'm just pinning it into the side, so I know exactly how much fabric I need, and then I can just cut off the excess, so I know I've got a set amount to work with. So you can see that being cut off just now. I would of course advise just to cut off a little bit more, so just in case it doesn't fit when you go to put it on, you've got some leeway of fabric to take out. And then this is me just cutting the back as well, just a little bit with extra, so we've got plenty to work with. So I've got to film a couple of little bits with the tartan dress. I've went ahead, finished the draping. What we've got here is I've done the front, added just a little kind of sequin bib to the cowl neck here, so that's looking pretty good. Whereas on the back I'd only draped one side, so I basically took that off, cut another piece on the other side, so I've got 2 of that, and then I'm just going to attach the fronts and backs together, and we can start working on some straps and bits and bobs there. Alright, so we have both the front and the back just pinned together now, so it gets pinned in quite a bit at the waist, and all the way up the arm, and a bit more loose at the skirt. What I'll need to do though first is cut off the excess that I've got here, because I won't be able to get off the mannequin with the pins being so close to the waist. I will be putting an invisible zipper just into one of the sides, so I'll get into that in a second. Alright, so I'm going to put in an invisible zipper. So this is what it looks like. So you can see the zipper tag here. And the idea is obviously you don't see the zip, hence the name, invisible zip. Now to put this in, you need a different kind of foot, which you normally get with all sewing machines. So the foot that you normally get, which has been attached this whole time while sewing, is this kind of foot, just a standard foot. Whereas the one that you need is this. So you can see it's obviously very different compared to the one that we have normally. You can see the hole is on the side, whereas the invisible or one-sided zipper foot, the holes are on either side. Sometimes you will get these, but it'll be like half, so it'll be like just one side. You can get these kind of mostly for industrial machines, but for domestic machines this is normally included in a little pack of things that you always get, which has normally like extra needles, bobbins, all that kind of stuff. So these are the foots that you should normally have, and for an invisible zipper we are going to need the one-sided zipper foot. I would note that you can get invisible zipper foots, which gets you supremely close to the zip, as you can see here in this photo, but for the purpose of new sewers here, a one-sided zipper foot will get you as close as you probably would need for amateur sewing, and especially for drag. Now to attach the foot, so I put in the original foot here, and there is this normally clasp back here. If you pull on that, the zipper foot comes off. And then I've got my other one. Now this foot, as I showed before, let's get the lighting. It has two bars just on here. So you want to make sure you've got the right side on for what you're attaching first. Alright, so you want to take your fabric and figure out what side you're going to be zipping first. So this is the front piece that I've got, as you can see by the sequins. And then this is the zipper. Now this will be put right sides together. So this is the left side here, as you can see, because I've got my little zipper tab here. So I want that to attach like so. Doing this one hand is a nightmare. Like so. So now I know I need to have my zipper foot and my one-sided foot on this side. Because that's where the seam allowance is. If I had it on this side, I wouldn't be sewing into anything. The zipper foot would just be free. So we want the zipper foot to be pressing down on the zip here with the space for the actual zip on the left side. So I'm putting the foot in, so we just again pull the tab. I normally put it right up. If it doesn't attach just like so, what I would do is I would have it down just on the bottom. I would lower my zipper foot and then press on that, or it'll connect automatically. Alright, so that is one side in. You can see that is the top of it there. So you can see how close you can get. You can get even closer actually with a proper invisible zipper. I think personally for my own taste it's a bit wide, but it will do. What I'll most often do is I'll put a line of stitching, top stitching, just along the edge here, just so the fabric doesn't go over the zipper, because it can have a tendency when you're pulling the zipper back up to catch the fabric in the zipper. So I'll probably just do that now, and I'll go ahead and attach the other side just doing the exact same method, and then we'll have one whole side together. So we finish up the dress by just sewing the other side together and putting some straps on, which are just lengths of bias fabric sewn over in halves. And then a collar as well, which I've done before in videos, so it's not much different. I also do a little bow on the back and some little gloves, which you'll see in a second. I'm not going to show you those, those will be for another video in the future, and we'll get into the final look just now. is the final dress that I have made. Also made some little gloves, fingerless gloves here. I was hoping that the fabric would stretch enough. Both the tartan and the sequins have a little bit of stretch, but not enough to do full gloves. I did them and then couldn't get my fat fingers through them, so I was able to just cut the fingers off and then leave the little front bit here to connect. So it's a little bit rough around the edges, but it does the job. I think it really makes the look just a little bit more chic than it was before. I also created this little bow on the back. I haven't quite sewn that in place because I kind of want to try it on different places, like on the hip, maybe on the shoulder up here. Yeah, a couple different options, so it's kind of a bit more variable. And then just for these bits here, I've just taken some safety pins and just pinned them up to give it more shape and to be fairly slutty. So yeah, I think this outfit is a really good example of how you can create something if you have a form of some form. Does that make sense? If you have a dress form of some sort that you can pin up on and kind of mold, especially with a cowl neck here that we've got, and then the shapes at the bottom as well. You could have done all this as well on the mannequin. So it's a good way of showing you how you can do something by draping it on form. This also feels quite festive, being like red tartan that you always get in little bows and stuff. So that was kind of like the main idea of doing it now in December. And yeah, gets us in the festive mood. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to press the like button down below. If you're not already, subscribe and ring the bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a brand new video. And check out more of me, make sure to do so at both Facebook and Instagram at Julianne Hoore. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye folks.